So my name is Giulia Remita. Some of you may know me as representing the company I work for Trivago, but this year I'm representing BTO and introducing a couple of panels in the main hall. Please excuse me for my mistakes. I'm not a native speaker, so I may do a lot of mistakes for my excitement. I do mistake also in Italian, so pretty normal. I'm happy to introduce you a big player in the market and the speaker for Tripadvisor, Mr. Adrian Hans, Senior Director of the CPC Sales Strategy of Tripadvisor Europe. Tripadvisor is going to introduce who he is. Maybe we all know who is Tripadvisor, of course. But it's going to say us where they are going. We're going to come back then with me and the Vice President of Trust You to make some question on his presentation, also out of curiosity. Of course, there's going to be space also for you to make some question. So please welcome Mr. Adrian Hans from Tripadvisor.
Thank you very much.
And see you later.
Okay. Microphone on. Thank you very much for taking the time, everybody. I know what it feels like now to be a rock star. I don't know how that translates into Italian, but just to introduce myself, my name is Adrian Hans. My role is I run the commerce, the auction and commerce team for Europe, for Tripadvisor. I've been with the business for 5 years, so I've seen a lot of changes in that time. I've been asked to talk about why Tripadvisor has become the biggest travel website it has. So what I'm going to do is, it's the first time I've been to BTO. It's clear that this is a very expert audience, so I want to give you a full picture of where I think we are and where I think we're going. So I'm going to start with a history lesson. So please bear with me. I'm going to go over this bit quite quickly, but it's quite important. I think you'll find it's material to the story that I'm going to be telling you today about Tripadvisor. Anyway, very, very pleased to be here. So let's rewind. First of all, I'll go back in time and then I'll move forward quickly. Let's rewind to 1999. I don't know if you guys can remember what you were doing in 1999. I'm not sure that I can. There was lots of rewinding going on there with tapes, but the stat I pulled out this morning was that at the time there were 150 million internet users worldwide. It's obviously a very small number compared to where we are now. Most of those users were in the US, but that was at the time when the founder, Stephen Kaufer, who was mentioned in the previous session, was thinking about how to plan a trip. And he wanted to go on a vacation to Mexico, I believe. He was prepared to invest quite a bit of money in his vacation, so he wanted to find the best possible information. And at the time, the only thing he could find were basic sites that covered purely hotel amenities, room descriptions, that kind of stuff. All good information, but every site had the same thing. You'll be aware of brochureware. Basically, the sites were brochureware. It was really just having the same information. There was nothing objective in those brochures that would help him make a decision. And I think, as I said, the key thing is that at the time he was looking to spend quite a bit of money on his vacation, and this is a theme that's followed through in trips since. Brochures promised good stuff. Quite often they didn't deliver. Funny picture. What was expected was not actually delivered, and he thought there must be a better way for us to do this. So the rest is history, so to speak, but I'll talk a little bit about it. The idea was born. How could he and the team develop a website where we combine information from users that was the factual information about hotels, but also some objective information that would give people the ability to make a choice on where they could go. And the mission was, right from the start actually, to help people plan and book the best possible trip. How could they make sure they spent their dollars in the best possible way? Amusing picture we always use of where the company started in Needham. The company is still based in Needham, just outside Boston right now. I'm pleased to say the headquarters have changed quite a bit and are significantly larger, but the idea was born there. First iteration of the website was really a collection of material from travel writers, what I think the kind of group we would call bloggers now. They weren't called bloggers at the time, but the site was just a very, very simple collection of that information, and we used it to plan their trips. Not particularly attractive, I think you agree, but it was a great starting point for us, and that's where we kicked off. The seminal moment, though, came in 2001. When I say seminal, I mean something that's changed the business quite dramatically. And that was the time when the guys had the idea, hey, why don't we get users of the site who've taken a trip to write reviews on their experiences? Now, you'll all be well aware of how Tripadvisor user reviews now, but at the time that was revolutionary. Nobody else was doing that. A lot of commerce websites do that right now. So it's not new right now, but at the time, hey, why don't we get users to write reviews that other people can look at and then make their decisions based on that? Okay, so it really all started from there. And let me just bring up a few highlights of what happened at Tripadvisor since. As I said, 2001, first reviews published. A very important moment, and at that time we saw dramatic growth in the site. The popularity index, everybody will probably be familiar. That's how we rate the different hotels within the different geos. So you rank it on a popularity index. That's basically a combination of the recency and relevancy of those reviews, and it's been an important driver of the content. We added restaurants to the site for the first time in 2004. I'll talk about them a little bit more later on. Vacation rentals, the forums. I was going to ask before, has anybody here ever contributed to a forum on Tripadvisor? Just a few, okay. I think for me, that's interesting. The forums are in my opinion, one of the most valuable parts of Tripadvisor because you can get live feedback from other users. But very, very large part of our site now and was important when we introduced it. Vacation rentals were added to the site later on at 2009, as well as a flight search piece. We do have a flight search meta on our site. Not the best known part of Tripadvisor, but an important part of our business. And then in 2010, two very important developments for us. First of all was the launch of the iPhone app. Current downloads, I think if I get my numbers right, we've had about 390 million downloads of the Tripadvisor app so far, which is an extraordinary number. And then the other really, really important piece was when we started partnering with Facebook, was with a real-time integration with Facebook. And we quickly became the biggest real-time partner with Facebook in the travel industry. The benefit of that was that each time you made a search for a hotel, you could also then, by logging in through Facebook, you could then see what your friends have been doing within those hotels within that destination. Really, really important part of our development, and certainly as a British person, there was in the UK particularly, one of the key ways that we drove a real escalation in review content. We found just a lot more people were prepared to write reviews if they had more of a connection with the site and they saw that their friends were engaged in it. There's also one really important part of development of Tripadvisor in this chart which is missing, which I think has been extremely important contributing to the brand values of Tripadvisor, and it's the most simple one we ever did. It's the stickers. The stickers that appear in windows of restaurants, hotels, and also the awards. You'll know when you go into a hotel, hoteliers, probably a lot here, are proud to show off the awards. The awards and the stickers, a very low-tech example of how we were able to spread the brand values of Tripadvisor very rapidly. Not included in this chart, perhaps it should be for future. Moving ahead, hotel price comparison 2013. That's the piece of the business that I'm heavily engaged with. Moving to hotel price comparison, I'll get into more details of that shortly. A key development for Tripadvisor at a time when the meta searches were really starting to grow very, very fast. So we were quite early into that market. More to come on that in a minute. Instant booking, obviously very, very close to my heart, something I work very closely on. Decided to launch that in 2014. At the same time, we acquired Viator and La Fourchette. We'll talk about those a little bit more in a moment. Very, very important parts of our business going forward. And today, I'll come back to the stats. My apologies, that slide is from last month. The figure has now gone up of monthly unique users by quite a bit. I'll come back to that in a minute. But fundamentally, we're looking at a very fast growth story now with lots of different development points. Exactly as our previous speaker was saying, Tripadvisor is a web company. We are constantly iterating, constantly testing our site. There's many, many tests going on the product day after day, week after week, and we are constantly moving in a fast direction, iterating as quickly as we can, and the mantra being that we will change before we have to. And a lot has changed since 1999. I mentioned the number of downloads we have for the mobile app. I believe we were one of the first companies to segment how we address users in the difference between the desktop and the tablet go together. So we would treat desktop users and tablet users the same, but we would treat the mobile users as very, very different. And now as the site develops, mobile users are well over half of our audience and obviously a massive focus of product development. This is where we see things going much faster over time. The end-to-end experience is what we're aiming for, and I'll come on to that more but talking about that. The inspiration, the researching and planning is what I think Tripadvisor has always been best known for. The volume of the content reviews is just a key part of how our site moves and how we deliver commerce against it. Price comparison, very, very important. We'll talk more about that. Booking. Is anybody, maybe you could help me, has anybody actually booked something on Tripadvisor? Could you put your hand up if you've booked something on Tripadvisor recently? Wow, okay. Okay, so 3. Okay, that doesn't sound like a great ratio, does it? Okay, more work to be done there. Okay, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And then crucially, towards the end of the deck, on the trip, what do we do for users and why is it important for us to engage with users on the trip? Okay, that's our mantra. I think I've explained that. We're creating the best experience as we possibly can. It's a common theme you'll hear against travel and the internet particularly. The user experience is pretty much everything we do. If the user experience is right and the content is right, the users will come and we will satisfy our other objectives. It's so important. Rich content, ample choice. Choice is the watchword for the commerce team I run. We need choice. We need choice in our auction. We need choice of content. We need everything that the user could possibly want on one site. So this is the English call this boasting. This is our boasting site. This is where we tell you about how big the numbers are, how fantastic we are. More importantly is the slide that's coming up in a minute as to why these are important. Once again, my apologies. This number should read 370 million unique users. The top left, 385, should read 420 million reviews and opinions. The review content continues to increase week over week at a dramatic pace. Now, this is great news for us because for 2 reasons. A, because it proves that people are interacting with the site and they want to post their opinions on there. Secondly, the new content that comes onto the site, over 50% of it is not in English language. So that means we are proving a real global footprint. So people are reviewing not in English and placing their reviews not in English on the site, and that is a fantastic metric for us. It proves that whatever we're doing, however the site is presented, whatever the content is there, people are coming back to it and people are placing their content on there and they are feeling good about that, we believe. Take a look at a couple of other numbers. I won't dwell on this, but I say the next slide is I think, more important. We have a global footprint. Top figure, 110 million members. That's an important figure for when I talk about instant booking coming up shortly. We have 110 million people who are prepared to give us their personal details and create an account on Tripadvisor and in various stages log in users. So they are our registered members. They are people who are engaged in our site. Very important metric for us and something I'll talk about in a moment. So this is the slide I was talking about. Why is the content, why are the numbers important? Because basically 80% of users feel that those reviews make them feel more confident about travel decisions and have a better trip. And that's the bottom line. That is it. That is why we have the content on the site, because people want to use the content and they feel confident it will help them plan a better trip. And then when they come back from their trip or even on their trip and they're placing a review, it works and it goes around in a circle. And this is exactly why Tripadvisor exists. This is what we set out to do. So moving beyond reviews. So let's assume that now you have got to stage, you've found the inspiration for your trip, you know where you want to go, and now you want to book it. This is the part I'm involved in. This is the first piece we did was before meta search. For those of you who've been around for a while, you might remember we used pop-up windows. Seems like a very strange thing to do looking back in history, but we did it. And we moved to meta search in 2013. Moving to price comparison was an obvious thing and a thing we need to do pretty quickly. It was obvious to do because we had so many people who were clearly ready to book their trip, who we hated to think might be jumping off the side of that stage and then moving into another channel to make the booking. We don't like it when that happens. We want to keep the user in our site as long as possible. So we moved to meta search, and that is the real-time availability, availability and real-time pricing in the language of the user. We are particularly fussy about how we show our prices. For any of you who work with us, you'll know we're very fussy about how we show prices in our meta search display. We're very keen they are accurate. They also include any compulsory taxes and fees. Not the time to get into that particular conversation, but regulations around the world are very complex. We want the user to know when they're clicking on the top link, $236, that is the price they will pay per night when they check out from the hotel. We need to know that information. We need Tripadvisor users to know they can trust us, not just review content, but then what they do when they book. And in this case, we launched on the official site. You can tell this site's a little older. We used to work with Venere, and that's, in this case, with meta search, users would then click off onto our partner site and complete their booking. I won't go into too much detail, but we are relatively unique in having a CPC ranked auction. So the top official site here, which is Hotel Direct site, we pay the highest CPC, and we have an auction. We have a dynamic auction, so we allow users to bid against, our partners to bid against each other for the traffic, and in return, because we date the searches and because we know they've come from an environment where they've been researching their trip, the likelihood that they will book is very high there, meaning that the CPC is then a metric, which is a calculation, a percentage of the transaction value that the partner is then likely to receive as a result of receiving our visitors. So meta search works well. The challenge for us with meta search, or the great thing about meta search, is it's relatively easy to engage partners, and we can provide lots of choice, and we like that, and we're going to continue to do meta search in a large amount on the site. It's, if you pardon the expression, it's our bread and butter business. Users plan their trip, they want to book via Tripadvisor, in this case with Tripadvisor and another partner. We want to allow as many of them to do that as possible. We will continue to do that, CPC-based, and a nice model. So a very important part of what we do. One thing that we did notice, and I alluded to the growth in mobile traffic over the last few years. Like I say, it's over 50% of our users are mobile users right now. What we noticed when we applied our meta search model on the mobile device, it was very frictioned kind of experience. So what that means is, for example, you started on the Tripadvisor mobile web page or in the Tripadvisor app, you clicked on a partner link, and you might link up to an app in some cases. We don't do that much of that now. Or you might go onto a partner's mobile website. If you wanted to go back, it was quite a clumsy experience. The other thing that is difficult on mobile, I'm sure you're all aware of this, is actually when you're first looking to add your payment details. It's quite a clumsy experience. I can imagine sitting on a train with my mobile on one knee and my credit card on one hand. Quite difficult to do that on a regular basis. And we noticed when we had meta search linking off to our partner sites in the mobile device was clumsy and it's friction. And what that means is that users fall off. Users fall off. Conversion rates were low, and we didn't think it was a great user experience. So that was the genesis, and that was the reason why we originally launched Instant Book. And Instant Book has now been in existence for 2 years. Instant Book is our commerce model where we allow the user to stay on the Tripadvisor site right up to the point that they actually confirm the booking, at which time they will then move off to one of our commerce partners. A gentleman previously from Booking.com, massive partner for us in all parts of our business. They work with us in Instant Book. So we would go right through the booking process, and then in this case, at the end of the booking process, once the user is ready to actually press book, they would then be sent off to our partner, in this case Booking.com or multiple others. I think we work with about 60 partners in Instant Book in total. And they would complete the booking with Booking.com or whoever, and then we would hand the customer off to them. So the reason why we launched, as I said, is to reduce the friction originally in mobile. So user a logged in member, and this is why the members I was talking about is important. This is something we wanted to use to give the members a better user experience when they wanted to book their trip. Keep them in Tripadvisor. That is an environment in which they're very familiar. Allow them to book right through the flow with us. We were talking about conversion flow previously. Go through the flow with us and then hand off to the partner right at the end of the process. So they knew what they were going to book. They knew which room type they wanted. They knew what they were going to pay. At that time, off they go to the partner. And it's proved extremely successful. It allows us to deal with the friction that is in the mobile device, and we've also extended it over to desktop. Multiple learnings from doing that on desktop in terms of how we show pricing, how we show amenities, how we show the other room details that the user is going to need to be sure they're booking the right room and they're confident that they will get what they want. They like the brand values of Tripadvisor. We also need to make them aware in the process, which I'm sure we'll get questions on later, is we need to make them aware during the process of which partner they're going to be booking with. So it will always be clear throughout the booking flow that this booking is being satisfied by partner X. Very important to do that. But as I say, the key opportunity for us is to make the user experience better, This is our obsession, and frankly, increase the economic return for both the partners and for us. We think by doing this in this way, this is our key winning strategy. We're going to continue to work on meta search. Probably worth mentioning that Instant Book is a CPA, it's a commission model. We did that because we believe that we want to give choice in terms of economics. CPC model cost per click is a well-known model. CPA model is also well-known. We want to give the choice there. How does the partner want to work with us? What economic terms they want? Let's give them as much choice as possible. If we give partners choice, they'll give us as much inventory and room availability as we can possibly get. It makes for a win-win situation for everybody. And if the price and availability was important in meta search, it's doubly important on Instant Book because this is a brand promise from Tripadvisor. Once you're in the Tripadvisor experience, we want the user experience to be as best as possible, but we also want the delivery of the experience to be as good as possible with the hotelier or with the OTA in this case. Okay, I think I'm running out of time quickly, so let me keep going quickly. The other things I'll talk about is the broadening of our horizons beyond hotels. Hotels are our core business, and that was where we started, but we've also invested in the last couple of years in a couple of companies. La Fourchette, you'll be aware, this is our ability to allow users to book a restaurant via the website when they're in location or before they arrive on their trip. Very important part of our business. We have a large amount of restaurant traffic on the site. We want to capitalize on that. I think I've run out of time. Okay.
The time unfortunately ran out. Many thanks, Mr. Hand, for your presentation. I think Mr. Hand is really, Hadrian is really the core, the heart of the system of Tripadvisor. I'm really happy to have you at BTO and to ask some questions. As a marketing person, I have millions of questions to ask, but of course the time is not enough. Okay. Let's welcome on stage our guest, Michael Menzel, Vice President of Trust You, a well-known reputation management company based in Germany. Let's sit on. I invite you on my living room. So getting better with the time is always.
Yeah, the time is always flies.
Yeah. So we leave the word and the first question to my guest, to Michael Menzel, just to Tripadvisor. I guess you have many questions.
So, is it on? I don't know.
Is it on?
Is it on? I think
Mine
so.
is not. Is it? Anyhow, you can.
I think so.
So where do you figure Tripadvisor in 2020?
Where we're going to be in 2020? Wow. Okay, I have to be careful what I say. I don't know if I have PR clearance for this. I think our previous guest from Booking.com, I think, nailed that answer. Is that the focus on Tripadvisor is obsessively on the user experience. So wherever that takes us in terms of developing the site is where we're going. We obviously have a business strategy in terms of hotels, Instant Book, and we, as you see, La Fourchette and Viator I talked about. So we have a business strategy going forward, and that's been pretty clear. Our obsession with user experience will take us, I think, where it takes us, and that's the thing we're going to focus on. Can we make the experience better for users? Can we engage better with users? And can we provide them with the services that they want to purchase on a regular basis? I think that's a vague answer, I know, but where are we in 2020? I don't know. If I did know, that would be great. But I think we will focus obsessively on the user experience. And I can tell you right now that, particularly with Instant Book and the other things we're doing, it's a great time to be at Tripadvisor. The mood and the enthusiasm at Tripadvisor for what we're doing is very, very strong. We really all feel as a group we're in what the British would call a purple patch. I don't know how that translates, but a very important time for Tripadvisor, working very hard to make the products as best we can, and everybody's very, very, very excited about the future.
So, I have a question. By listening one of the recent interview by your founder, Stephen Kaufer, at the question, why did you invest so much, or you investing right now in the booking experience, he answered something like, why not? So as we have the biggest travel website, we have to reduce this friction you were talking about, and to give the user the possibility to book, the chance to book also, and to purchase, to end the funnel. So my question is really the why not enough for consumer to persuade them to book and finalize their booking on Tripadvisor, other than going in the website they know the best? Because Tripadvisor is doing many things, and the idea is maybe probably is not yet, as you have seen, asking how many of you has booked on Tripadvisor lately, is not really a top of mind for this.
Yeah.
But so it's an option. Are you going to offer something special, some added value, best price? What the added value of booking on Tripadvisor?
So I think so the answer of why not, I think probably is a good one. But I think if you remember, I talked about the number of members we have, 110 million members. So, and if you remember also that I don't know if I sent it in my presentation, but we know that when people look at reviews, most users will look at between 6 and 12 reviews, I think. So quite a lot of reviews when they come to the site. So the users are all already very engaged in the site. So our logical conclusion out of that was, let's give them the choice there. So we also have many properties on the site, so they're used to having choice. Let's give them choice in commerce. Let's give them the well-established partner experience, and our partners are extremely good and they have a great user experience, so we'll continue with the meta search model, but let's also give them the Tripadvisor user experience as well as a choice. We want to give choice, we want to make it a good user experience. It all plays into that model. And the answer to why not is it's the logical thing to do when the users are engaged that one. We're still handing off to the partner, as I said. There's still the partner completing the booking for us, but it's just a different way of getting there. So
your win factor is actually to give the best experience possible.
The best experience
and
possible.
And price strategy, for example, do you have anything in mind to break the parity or to offer something better?
We have no plans to break the law. No plans to break the law, and I think we will observe price parity rules wherever they apply. I think that yes, right now we want to provide equal levels of merchandising instant book that we have in Meta, and it's developing in different ways. It's been talked about quite a bit, I think, but we want to have a similar experience in both models that we can.
So basically, the best technology will win.
Absolutely. Let the user decide where they're going to go. That's what we want.
Quite a big challenge on this.
Yes.
Michael.
So who would you consider is your competitor, your strongest competitor in the field you're in? Like if Google chooses to collect reviews by their own more strongly than they do now, so how would that change your marketplace, your idea of what you actually do? Plus, how important are reviews for Tripadvisor? Collecting guests to be on tripadvisor.com.
Sorry, how important are the reviews in terms of?
How important, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Is it the sole stake that you have, or are there others?
Well, to answer the first question was, who do we see?
Yeah, where's the competitor?
I think when you talk about competition, I think the overall thing we are most excited about is the sheer size of the online travel market and the opportunities. So I think, as I said previously, I don't think we spend that much time focusing on what competitors might be doing, but we're very excited about the overall opportunities. So ask us again in 5 years, the opportunity is now significant, and we're going to make the most of that. Reviews are obviously where we started the site. They're the beginning and end of our site, and as I showed you the stats earlier, 80% of people actually feel more confident using reviews. That's the proof that we need that it works, and we'll continue to invest in that. We obviously look at the user reviews. There's a fairly significant team behind moderating reviews and making sure they appear in the correct way and are appropriate. But yeah, it's everything for us. It's everything.
So reviews are still very important for you. You take them into still in a big consideration as it was your background. So
absolutely,
don't deny this big heritage you got and you have.
Absolutely. It's our heritage, and it's our duty to make sure the experience is best possible for users, and that the reviews are trustworthy and people get out what they need from them. That's our mission in that perspective.
Adrian, can I do a bastard question?
Go.
Is it a nice question?
During the last Focusrite conference,
yes.
Someone said that instant booking has been a pivot for Tripadvisor bar in the ditch.
Okay.
What do you reply?
My reply is, well, as I said before, I mean, hey, it's been publicly, Stephen, our CFO, probably quoted that it's taken longer to develop Instant Book than we thought. But as I said earlier, it's a very exciting time at Tripadvisor, because we can see that there are good signs now coming through, particularly in the US, that it's a great experience for our users, and it's really taking the course that we thought it would. It's taken longer to produce, I think, than we thought it would. But I think everybody in the company is 100% behind it. It's a great user experience. Not many people in this room have booked on it. We hope if we come back next year, that'll be a bigger number. But we are very excited about it. It's going the way we thought it'd go, albeit maybe a little slower.
Michael, I give you the last question because time is 2 minutes left, and then it's me, if we can.
I don't really have a smart one. It would just be like...
Is it working? Can you hear him? No.
You ask.
Yeah.
You ask your question.
Yeah.
You ask your
I have question. I asked my question, not your question. Sorry. Yes, I have a question. You have a consistency of different commercial models. So you started as CPM, then it was a CPC, so you strongly identify with the meta search. Now I see the meta search story is not so communicated so strongly. And now you're going to CPA models to a commission model every hotelier knows. Was this a compromise with the hospitality sector? Was this a defeat? Was it a way to get better understood by the markets? And what's your fundamental key metrics at the moment? I guess CPC as you are.
Yeah, I mean, both models are very well established in the market. So lots of our partners will work in CPC and CPA with various channels across the market. So both of them are well established. Meta search was not that well established when we started it, particularly the real-time price and rates and availability. But it is well established now. And then the CPA model makes sense for instant book. But I say, ultimately, we want to give people choice. The choice is the
What's your
important
favorite one?
My favorite one.
CPC.
I'm lucky I don't have to have a favorite. I just love it all. I love the whole lot.
Okay, because at the end you can reduce everything in CPC. What would you recommend to the hospitality sector to deal with meta search campaign and with instant book? It's enough for sale management and revenue management, or do they have to specialize in something more profound, a CPC manager, something more? You deal every day with those people, I guess, no? Yeah,
from a commerce perspective where I sit, the most important thing that our hotelier partners and our OTA partners do are give us the best rates and the best availability, and that's the best way to secure business from us. It really is as simple as that. The connectivity piece between us and you is complex. We know that. Most of you will have channel managers and various third parties do that. Best prices, best availability.
So they don't need any specific requirement to get into the loop?
No, just best price and availability.
So I'm sorry that you may have some other question, but the microphone, it's shut out. So many thanks, guys, for being here with us.
Okay,
and of course, we are available for anyone else that need to ask some question.
Thank you.